phone by dialing *977#. If you are a postpaid customer, press 2 after dialing *977# and you will be able to pay for your bill, access your bill and receive bill alerts. You can also do self-reading of your meter. Simply go to the self-reading menu, add your account number, input the current meter reading, then send. You will receive your power bill within 24 hours. Your meter number is automatically saved for future references. Kenya Power, powering people for better lives.
It is our #1 priority to protect children against life-threatening diseases like measles, rubella, tetanus and other preventable diseases. Following a measles-rubella risk assessment by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with WHO, 22 counties were found to be at a high risk of measles and rubella disease transmission. The campaign will start on the 26th June to 5th July 2021 in all health centers and selected immunization posts.
Ensure your children and those around you aged 9 months to 59 months do not miss out. Vaccinate to protect. This message has been brought to you courtesy of the Ministry of Health in conjunction with UNICEF.
Two counties on the spotlight tonight as the government warns of an outbreak of measles rubella. Is your county among them? We'll be letting you in on this story, among others that we have contained in our comprehensive news bulletin tonight. A very good evening. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and on this new look KBC, I will be doing this together with a gentleman who has been missing in action, went on a little sabbatical, but he is back, bigger, better, still doing what he loves doing. I'm talking about none other than John Jacob Kioria. It's good to have you back, Kioria. Looking good. Karibu sana nyumbani.
Thank you very much, Serfine Achieng. And indeed, it's a pleasure to come back to KBC Channel 1. The prodigal son has returned, and for the next 1 hour or so, we'll be telling you what is happening across the country, including that interview with the Senator for Migori County, Ochilo Ayako. He's the Vice Chair of the Finance and Budget Committee, and you've seen the complaints by governors that they are threatening to shut down counties if they don't get their allocation. So far, Treasury has disbursed 40 billion. There's about 60 more remaining, and we'll be telling you about those details tonight. We are profiling Senator Ochilo Ayako. And did you know the gentleman has studied nuclear law?
Oh my God.
He's
well the man on the hot seat tonight.
Yes, tonight.
We got a lot lined up for you ahead. Do stay with us beginning right now till the tail end of it. But first, here are the highlights. Treasury releases 43.5 billion shillings to devolved units in the wake of threats by county bosses to shut down operations.
In our special feature, we focus on the mountain bongo, a rare species of antelope classified as highly endangered and found only here in Kenya.
And it is all systems go as the much-awaited Wrc Safari Rally begins on Thursday in Nairobi and Naivasha and aired live on KBC TV and Radio Taifa. Cynthia Nyamai will be bringing you the latest in the world of business, and later on Richard Munga with a sporting action.
All right, you can talk to us on our social media sites at KBC Channel 1, and you can also talk to us on our Facebook, KBC Channel 1 News. My Twitter handle at Kioria, and for Serfine
at Serfine_Ching. We begin straight away with our top story. Treasury has released 43.5 billion shillings to county governments. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuriatani, in a statement, called on county governments to prioritize paying pending dues owed to suppliers.
Subsequently, the Council of Governors, led by the chairperson, Martin Wambora, welcomed the move, saying it will help the devolved units in paying pending bills and salaries. The money is meant to clear pending bills up to the month of April.
The Council of Governors has dropped threats to shut down counties following the release of additional 43.5 billion shillings to the devolved units by Treasury. In a statement, the funds are set to clear dues up to April this year. Council of Governors Chair Martin Wambora says the move will help the county units to undertake services and pay pending bills.
We are happy. We have funds to at least buy essential things like medicine and also pay salaries. But the money owed, we are still going to follow it up, use diplomacy this time around, so that if we get it, then it will fulfill what he said during the budget in Parliament.
They urge the Treasury to expedite the remaining funds to allow counties operate smoothly. Yatani says the remaining monies for May and June are in the pipeline and will be released soonest before the onset of the next financial year. Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua, earlier speaking in Mombasa, claimed the national government was deliberately scheming to kill devolution by starving counties of cash.
Unaponyima wananchi huduma ya county kwa kupunguza pesa, inamaanisha ya kwamba unataka wananchi waendelee kuwa maskini, kwa ndio kisiasa uendelee kuwatawala, kwa sababu mwenye njaa anatawaliwa na yule ambaye ameshiba.
In the 2021-2022 financial year, Treasury allocated counties 53 billion shillings.
And now civil society groups want the electoral stakeholders in the country to make key commitments to ensure the country is adequately prepared for the 2022 general election.
The development coming as the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says it has embarked on reforming the existing legal framework to enhance credibility of the 2022 general elections.
Ben Chumba has that report.
With the 2022 general election few months away, civil society groups in the country are demanding for integrity, accountability and transparency in the electoral process.
As we go to the next election, there will be a hue and cry. Let's replace commissioners, let's get new commissioners. And we assume that having done that, we should be able to have an electoral system that has credibility and that can be trusted by the public. Perish the thought. That's not going to be the case.
Of the three arms of government, you should not find surprise in the statement that the judiciary appears to be the one that is most prepared for this election. And indeed, they are. Parliament and executive are not.
During a national dialogue conference on electoral justice in the country, held at a Nairobi hotel and attended by political leaders, the civil society groups detailed why it is necessary for the electoral body IEBC to fix issues which arose in the 2017 general elections.
If you ask anybody on the streets, the elections Kenyans remember as largely free and fair are the 2002 general elections. So what is the problem? The problem is impunity, utadu culture.
The Commission has not addressed the issue of elections technology and has only been offering public assurances that are devoid of practical evidence. Procuring technology close to elections is deliberately preparing to fail.
The development coming as electoral body IEBC says it has embarked on reforming the existing legal framework to enhance credibility of the 2022 general elections.
The issue of certification of the register. The last time we certified the register was December 2019. Certification means now we had to share data with the registrar of births and deaths and remove the dead voters, and then the commission certified that register. And this will also be done after now the mass voter registration. The register must be certified. I think it's in the timelines, should be around May of next year.
IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati says the electoral body has adopted information technology to enhance credibility and effectiveness of the electoral process.
Remember, we still invite your feedback. Tonight, we will be having Migori Senator Ochilo Ayako on the hot seat. John Jacob Kioria will be doing that interview. The lady at the bottom of your screen is our sign language interpreter, Anne Wangeshi. Tonight, continue engaging us on social media at KBC Channel 1.
All right, let's look at the COVID-19 status in the country. And the country recorded 622 new coronavirus infections on Wednesday from a sample size of 6,236.
The positive rate is now at 10%. 30 patients succumbed to the disease, one in the last 24 hours, while 29 are late deaths.
This as Vihiga County has shut down its operations and advised staff to work from home until further notice. Only those offering essential services will operate from the offices.
Governor Dr. Wilbur Otichilo says the move has been necessitated by the increasing coronavirus positivity rate in the last 1 month. This as close to 300 people were arrested for violating COVID-19 prevention protocols during the ongoing lockdown in 13 red zone counties. Ruth Wamboi with that report.
In a move aimed at combating the spread of COVID-19, Vihiga County Governor Dr. Wilbur Otichilo has shut down county operation for non-essential staff.
Last 1 month, we have recorded increasing infections and deaths in our county.
The county boss has warned residents to strictly adhere to the Ministry of Health guidelines on COVID-19 prevention.
It is not going to be long before we run out of the beds and the capacity to take care of the beds, of the patients.
The decision coming as Otichilo dismissed 4 CECs for gross misconduct. Elsewhere, close to 300 people have so far been arrested for violating coronavirus prevention protocols during the ongoing lockdown in 13 counties.
It is your personal thing, and these other vaccines will work well because you have discipline.
This is as staffs plying Nyamira and Narok routes have petitioned the president to consider reviewing the curfew hours.
Kisa abiria pale kitu kama saa 2:30 ndio ajiweze kufika kwake. Hii ya saa 1 haki imeshinda kabisa. Imetushinda. Tungeomba rais wetu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta mtusaidie kwa hii curfew. Wacha irudi ifike saa 3 heli ndio abiria wafike vizuri.
At the same time, the Council of Governors has lauded the swift action taken by Lake Region Economic Bloc in addressing the surging cases of COVID-19 cases, calling on the Ministry of Health to equitably share the second dose of COVID-19 vaccinations.
The government for imposing strict COVID-19 control measures and discouraging movement into and out of the 13 counties in the Wrc region.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Now, on to matters education. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has reiterated that the government is on course to roll out grade 5 of competence-based curriculum in the country.
Professor Magoha is saying that enough funds have been allocated in this year's budget to improve the infrastructure of schools selected to have junior secondary schools. Let's have a look at that story.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says the ministry will soon announce the primary schools identified for construction of junior secondary sections in preparedness for the rollout. The Cabinet Secretary assuring parents that textbooks for grade 5 have already been printed and delivered to various schools.
Placed every school on GIS, every primary school on GIS, and every secondary school on GIS. And the purpose for that is to be sure that we know the exact gap, not the one by the rats who keep on stealing government money. We want to know the exact gaps. It is possible that we are going to construct classrooms, 1 classroom in primary school, and since all secondary schools are going to be junior secondary schools.
Meanwhile, the government is set to begin the second phase of digitization of land registries across the country next month. Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karonei says they have identified 20 counties for the process, which aims to ease issuance of title deeds and establishment of a credible records system. The Cabinet Secretary made the remarks in Tana River County after launching the first lands registry in the region since independence.
Tana River will be one of those 20 that we will digitize in phase 2. Because you have a very good registry of the technology, there's no reason why we shouldn't digitalize your records, so that as we document your community lands, you should be able to enjoy those services from the comfort of your home or your smartphone if you have one.
Elsewhere, the Kisii County Assembly was on Wednesday barricaded allegedly by disgruntled ward representatives protesting the return of embattled Speaker David Kombo. A section of MCAs who turned up for the plenary sitting found doors and gates locked. The Speaker voted to remain put, saying he will not be pushed out by a few members who bent on causing divisions.
I would still appeal to them, let us work together as one assembly. Don't divide this assembly, whoever it is.
And security has been scaled up in Koromei, Mandera County following a suspected terrorist attack that claimed the life of one person and left 2 others injured. Investigations are ongoing to establish perpetrators of the attack, who also burnt an excavator in the region where the county government is constructing a mega dam. Suleiman Yeri, Prime Edition.
All right, on that note, a lot is happening on social media. Guys are happy to have you back. Kioko from Thika is saying, wow. Salimia John Sana, good to have you back. Robai Miheso from Nairobi, thank you for watching. You say you're loving the new look KBC. We appreciate you. Of course, we have one, Mama Oliver from Homa Bay County. Thank you so much. We appreciate you watching tonight.
All right, and of course, as the Swahili team said through Ahmed Jumabalo, Mwendatezi na Omo, Marejeo Ngamani. So this is my Ngamani.
Actually didn't see that coming. Ngamani.
Yes. It's time for us to pick or take a breather. But as you can see from your set, Senator Dr. Ochilo Ayako, the gentleman, has studied nuclear law. And other than that, he also has a master's degree in law. And we'll be talking to him about, his political ambition, his life, but most importantly, in his position as the vice chairperson of the Finance and Budget Committee. Will this friction between the county governments and the national government, will it ever end? And can Senate play any role in ending the conflict?
All right, what's in store for people of Migori, plus what he has in store for Kenya at large. That coming up after this break. Of course, we are going to be taking a short break. Engage us on social media. If you have any question for the senator, use the hashtag. This is KBC at KBC Channel 1. We'll be sampling some of them as we continue. We take that break now.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na corona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya Ouma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria, na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
Our legends. Your legends. And now they're back on your screen.
There's nowhere like home after 31 years. What a feeling.
Karibu kwa taarifa zetu za leo. Mimi ni Badimo Hussein.
Bringing you news you can trust.
Kuungana nasi kwenye taarifa zetu za humu nchini, ugaibuni na hata kwenye safu za spoti.
Join us every Saturday on KBC Darubini and KBC Channel 1 News as we bring you comprehensive news coverage presented by the trailblazers of newscasting in Kenya.
Mwendatezi na Omo, Marejeo Ngamani.
The Legends News Edition on KBC Channel 1 every Saturday.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii.
Uko shwani yangu.
Hii pikipiki ni, unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari?
Kidogo.
Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako, chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Did you know you can pay your premiums from the comfort of your home using mobile money and online platforms? Avoid cash payments to prevent spread of COVID-19. Stay safe, stay home, save lives. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. That interview coming up shortly. But first, did you know that Kenya is the only country in the world where the few remaining mountain bongos can be found?
Mountain bongo is a rare type of antelope classified as highly endangered. Only 100 forest mountain bongo exists world over, and Kenya plays home to all of them.
KBC's Purity Museo took a break from the office to trail this endangered animal. Here is her report.
Early morning, we arrive at the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy in Nanyuki, Laikipia County, in search of one of the highly endangered subspecies of antelope, the mountain bongo.
The mountain bongo is critically endangered, and it's only found in Kenya, with less than 100 individuals existing in their natural habitat.
This visually striking animal with deep found colored coat bisected with white vertical stripes is a mountain bongo. Her name is Elizabeth. At 24 years of age, she is the oldest mountain bongo in Kenya and the world. The chestnut animal is only found in Kenya's lowland forest, restricted to the Mau Forest, the Aberdares and the Mount Kenya Forest.
She's now here as an able ambassador of all mountain bongos that we have in our breeding program and of all mountain bongos that are in the wild in Kenya.
Just about 100 critically endangered mountain bongos remain in Kenya, the last country where the animals exist in the wild.
Assuming we destroy all the forests, we'll be losing this species that is only found in Kenya.
The mountain bongo began its decline in the 1890s when ranchers reportedly brought rinderpest-infected cattle to the region. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, mountain bongos in the early 90s suffered multiple epidemics of rinderpest, a deadly disease that dramatically reduced their population. And due to hunting and the destruction of their natural habitats, the existence of the remaining mountain bongos has been threatened. However, the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy is working hard to ensure this type of antelope is protected and preserved through a breeding program.
Started with feeding 100%, where everything that they need to eat is brought to them.
The mountain bongos are naturally active during the night and early in the morning. That's when conservationists here bring them food. Food, mainly pellets, is put in their feeding troughs where they gather to feed every morning and evening.
For us, we want to breed the animals, get them used to the wild environment, and they're able to find the food for themselves. Then we release these animals to the National Bongo Task Force. They will look for a suitable site and release these animals.
Currently, there are 52 bongos in the paddocks. The population will be used to reinforce the one out in the wild.
The babies that are born, they now join the rewilding program. They join the first paddock of the sanctuary, transit the second paddock of the sanctuary until the end where they are able to be deemed fit for release in the wild.
The breeding program began with 18 mountain bongos imported from the US.
We allow the bongos first of all to settle because they are coming from a different time zone, a different climate to get used to Kenya. And after that now, after adaptation, the bongos start breeding. So the next phase is to now start bringing them in environment that will prime them for the wild conditions.
From the paddocks, these visually striking animals will be brought to this sanctuary. Here, the amount of food given to them is significantly reduced.
The sanctuary is divided into 3 compartments, and each compartment serves its purpose, because the ideal scenario is that at the end of the day we'll have a bongo which can go to the wild, find food on its own, and be able now to reinforce the wild population.
Once they are brought here into this sanctuary, it will be upon the 52 Mount Kenya bongos to prove if they are able to get food on their own, and if not, they will be returned into the conservancy. If they do, then they will be free to be released into the wild. The breeding program is being used as a flagship species for the protection of the Mount Kenya forest. Conservationists here are working with community members and schools to plant more trees, not only for the benefit of the bongos, but for purposes of forest conservation as well.
Through the trainings, we are sure that the students from here will continue taking care of the environment even when they go back home.
It seems everything in nature that has beauty has also a price. To preserve these fairly large in size mountain bongos, it calls for concerted efforts in promoting forest conservation. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News, at the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy in Nanyuki, Laikipia County.
Fantastic story there by Purity Museo on the mountain bongo. Now, before we head out for our interview tonight, let's just have a brief look at who Senator Ochilo Ayako is before we talk to him. We'll begin with his education. In 2016, the senator graduated with a doctorate degree in leadership and change management. Now, in 2012, he graduated with a diploma in nuclear energy. Like I've always emphasized, he's a person who is very well versed on issues of energy. He has a master's in law, LLM, 2010. That was in the year 2010. But in 1998, from the Kenya School of Law, he got, no, this is not the Kenya School of Law, but he graduated with a diploma in democracy and governance. In 1992, postgraduate diploma in law from the Kenya School of Law. And in 1992, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in law from Nairobi University. So how about his political career? His political career began in 1997 when he was elected as a member of parliament for Rongo on an NDP party ticket. And then after that, in 2002, during the NARC wave, is when again he was elected again as MP for Rongo. And this time, President Mwai Kibaki names him as Minister for Energy, a position he was in for a whole year, and then later Minister for Gender, Sports, Culture and Social Services, just in case you've forgotten. Again, he became the executive chairman. This may not be so very much political, but includes his profession, executive chairman and CEO of the Kenya Nuclear Electricity Board. And in 2015, he was voted as chair of the African Commission on Nuclear Energy. How about in 2017? Governor, that is Senator Ochilo Ayako, ran for governor in Migori County in the year 2017, but then was defeated by the incumbent Okodho Bado. There was a legal challenge that didn't go too far because the case was dismissed. And after the death of the former senator for Migori County in a by-election in October 2018, Senator Ochilo Ayako became the substantive senator representing the county of Migori on a no-DM ticket. Currently, he's the vice chair of the Finance and Budget Committee. And what a way to begin this interview, because this so much debate around the county allocations and whether counties should shut down. Today, there was hue and cry saying that they would shut down, but Treasury released about 40 billion shillings. They say the National Treasury owes them 102 billion shillings. Is 40 billion shillings a tip of the iceberg, or is it enough? Senator Chiloyako joins us this evening. Senator, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yes. You can say hi to our viewers before we begin.
Hi everybody watching KBC. It's good to be with you here in KBC. It's always been my favorite channel.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. Probably we begin from there because you're in the Senate, and as the chair of the Finance, Vice Chair of the Finance and Budget Committee, you've seen what governors are saying, that the concept of devolution is under threat because of a friction between the national government and the county governments over county allocations.
That is absolutely correct. But let me just put a few pieces of information.
Yes.
I'm also the chair of County Public Accounts and Investments Committee. And I went to the School of Law in 1993, not 1992.
Okay.
So those are corrections that need to be put there. My yearmates, my classmates would wonder why there is false information regarding me.
All right.
Very well. So it is true. It is correct that we are having a crisis. Government services are hinged upon funding, expeditious funding, adequacy of the funding, so that the government would be able to roll out the budget, execute it in time, and the public who put that government in place would be able to realize the fruits of their elections and the support for the administration of the day. County governments are governments. They are constitutional governments and have constitutional mandates to do certain things. Health is largely devolved. Other areas like agriculture and roads to an extent, water to an extent. So they are important services that are devolved. These services are funded by monies that are allocated by Senate or Parliament to county governments. Unfortunately, national government has not been able to keep its commitment of disbursing funds sufficiently, adequately, and promptly to county governments. So county governments are rightly claiming that they are being sabotaged and are grinding to a halt.
Let me ask you a quick one, because when you look at the whole story, when you look about 3-4 years ago, the delays would only be 1 month or 1 month and a half. Nowadays it has exacerbated to 4 months. Right now, even if you release this money, it's almost a week to the end of this financial year, which means probably they will not even appropriate the money. As Senate, and in your capacity as the Vice Chair in that very critical committee, what are you doing to solve this impasse that appears to go beyond expected time?
We had occasion to meet the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance, but of course we were not satisfied with his response. The National Treasury, using the position that it has found itself in, is an appendage of the national government, which is the problem. So when it comes to availing money for public use, it gives preference to national functions as opposed to county functions. I think we need to relook at the Constitution and make the Cabinet Secretary responsible for finance a Cabinet Secretary responsible for both governments.
So you delink it from the national government?
Yes, so that that Cabinet Secretary is not just responsible for national government, but responsible for both national and county governments, because in that office reposes funds that are supposed to be disbursed to counties in a timely way. We have, there was an attempt to cure this by having the Office of the Controller of Budget, but that office has nothing to do with disbursements. That office looks at administrative matters instead of being responsible for the timely disbursement of funds as approved in the budget to both levels of government. So that is one problem. The second problem is at the advent of devolution, when we first rolled it out. National Assembly, which was in existence before Senate, decided to allocate or to give itself the responsibility over financial matters, a fight that is still ongoing before court.
Yes.
So when it comes to financial matters, financial legislation and such related matters, the National Assembly has been arrogated upon itself more responsibility than the Constitution conferred on it. And therefore, when pull and push arises between the Senate and the National Assembly, and because the presidency has been more inclined towards favoring the National Assembly, the Senate, which is the protector and representative of counties, if you look at Article 96 of the Constitution, has been disadvantaged. All these matters go to court and they drag. So when it comes to dealing with finances, when you combine the inclination of the presidency, National Assembly, the counties are disadvantaged because the Senate, that is supposed to be the anchor, has not been re-engineered in the Constitution or sorted out by way of BBI, which is still under discussion elsewhere.
All right. I'm sure in one way or another you told me whether it's true that you were involved in the negotiations that were in State House between senators when you were discussing that basis formula, and there was a promise that 50 billion shillings would be added to counties in the next financial year, which begins in July. When the budget was read about 2 weeks ago, there was nothing like that in the provision. The allocation is still pegged at 316 billion shillings. I know, of course, the rider was if the economy is functioning well, but the fact that there's not even 2 or 3 billion shillings added to that allocation, what does that say, Senator?
Now, if you look at the budgets, strictly speaking, the 70 billion that was promised is factored in the budget.
Okay.
It is provided for by way of conditional grants that have now been made an integral
conditional
part of
grants.
Yes,
okay.
They have been made an integral part of the budget. So the counties are actually expected to budget on the basis of the added amount. So to the extent that that commitment was made by the president, that commitment has been honored, and it's part of that budget. The problem is disbursement, and the kind of disbursement, the manner in which it's done, has rendered county governments helpless. If you look at the audit queries, the way they are brought before the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate, you will find that pending bills are the biggest challenge to county governments. County governments have a budget. They give out tenders to people, humble people who go to banks to get money from banks. These people are unable to pay for the services that they have outsourced from people who supply them. And at the end of every financial year, you will find that the counties are unable to pay them. The tragedy of this is that banks now do not accept to loan people who have papers of getting tenders awarded to them by county governments. So that's very unfortunate. How then do local people get money to be entrepreneurs? You can't be an entrepreneur if you cannot be funded by a bank, and the bank will not fund you if recoverability of the money they give you is in doubt because of these pending bills. You also have people you are obligated to, your workers, be they casual, you are obligated to banks and other institutions. So the counties, owing to the mess that has been created by Treasury, is in quandary, and that is not acceptable.
All right. On a question tonight, we were asking you, should counties threaten to shut down every time there are delays in disbursements? Should counties threaten to shut down every time there are delays in county disbursements? You can talk to us on Twitter at Kioria, at KBC Channel 1, on Facebook at KBC Channel 1. When I listen to you, Senator, you appear to have a grasp of the problem that we have. And you've seen the kind of delays that we're having in terms of disbursements. Yet you support BBI with the provision of extra allocation to counties. Where will we get them?
The problem is not about allocation.
Okay.
The problem is that the national government, as I see it today, and as I saw it before the re-election of Jubilee, has never been fully committed to devolution. That is why you will see a ministry like agriculture The national government has no farm, has no farmers, but most of the allocation is stashed here. The Ministry of Agriculture is procuring fertilizer to give to counties. Why can't they give money to those counties to do the same? So money is not the problem. It is the will to implement the constitution to the letter. And BBI intends to have it written in black and white that what the counties are entitled to is 35%, so that there is no gray area. There is no pull and push between National Assembly and the Senate about what is the entitlement of counties. This is what needs to be written. If, for instance, this nation is able, or assuming we are under distress like we are now, and we are able to collect only 1 billion, let 35% be guaranteed as monies devolved to counties. Right. Let it not be a dancing figure which is disbursed at the will and whim of somebody hiding behind a big desk in Treasury without knowing the suffering that we have in counties. Okay. So that is what BBI seeks to address, among other things. Right. If the cake is small, divide 35% of that small thing to counties. Give Migori part of their 35%, give Ouma Bay, give Kisumu, give Nairobi, so that there is certainty. If you are a government running a program and you are not certain about the percentage you are entitled to, then you really cannot budget. And we know that if you push the counties to be firm on source revenue, that will be local taxation. Like here in Nairobi, there's the bills that, not the bills, what we pay for parking. You see, all of us are complaining it's too high. It's too high because Nairobi County government wants to catch up on source revenue by raising it too high. Yes. That is burdening our people, and that is what we need to deal with.
All right. As we wind up, because this program is called Extra Mile, the segment, the youngest minister ever for energy. First of all, why did you study nuclear energy? What were you anticipating?
I studied the nuclear law in Montpellier.
Nuclear law, yes.
Yeah, in Montpellier University in France. I studied other areas of nuclear energy in Korea, in the United States of America, in France and other places. And I'm actually a nuclear energy and law expert. The reason I studied this, I had actually decided to be a professional in nuclear area. And at that time, I had made up my mind to quit politics and not to get back to it. The reason I'm back in politics is that out there as a professional, out there as a highly trained Kenyan, the political system, once you have been a politician, the professional world does not appreciate your skill.
The bag never leaves you.
Not the bag. I'm not the problem.
Yes.
It's how professionals are treated out there. I get to that field, people think I'm a dunderhead. They do not see knowledge and skill in me. So nobody wants to hire the expertise I have. They look at me as a politician, an image we all have. I think we are responsible for the dirt in politics. So if you are a banker and a good one and you get into politics, the banking sector will never accept you back. So you will have to keep being a politician even when your skill and your value is best needed or most needed out there.
That confirms you running for Governor Migori County in 2022.
Absolutely. This is the job that people seem to accept that I can do. They don't seem to need my other skills, for which this country trained me, and trained me at a very high premium.
All right. There's a president out there probably who will become, after President Uhuru Kenyatta has exited, and you've had Senator Ochilo Ayako
not running for
you
president.
Need his expertise. Politics was not his thing, but because of the bias on professionals who become, politicians, and what happens, that is why he has stuck to politics. We hope to see your contribution in the future on issues of nuclear energy and the law thereof. Thank you very much, Senator Ochilo Ayako.
Oh, thank you very much.
Tonight. And probably you can say goodbye to the people of Migori and very quickly mention your area.
I want to thank all Kenyans who are watching this program and the people of Migori. I want to ask the people of Migori to continue working hard in these difficult times. precautions. Ensure that you are not overwhelmed by COVID by following the advice and regulations put out there by government. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
That people continue to mask up and follow the COVID-19 protocols. We're taking a breather. Cynthia Nyamai is up next with business, and of course later Richard Munga with sports. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back, of course, to say goodbye. Don't go too far.
If you have been in contact with someone who is suspected or has tested positive for COVID-19, self-quarantine for 14 days and call 7194 for help. Self-quarantine restricts movement and the spread of the disease and protects your family, friends and community from being infected. During self-quarantine, you are advised to stay in a separate room, disinfect surfaces and clothing with appropriate disinfectant, avoid sharing household items, including utensils, towels and beddings, do not receive visitors, wear an appropriate face mask if you must be around other people. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, family and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Did you know you can take up a funeral insurance, also known as last expense, for your loved ones? Consider taking a funeral cover to avoid unnecessary stress and fundraising when you lose a loved one. This policy covers funeral-related expenses such as burial fees, transportation costs, and grave preparation. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the Popos. Huh?
Drama.
Will he assault the Queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports, and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Jiangalie kitengo yenye huko juu, hata mimi ningejiangalia nisingepata hii nyumba.
Akaniambia sita, tumepata nyumba. I was so happy.
Today we are going to talk about affordable housing.
In simple terms, we are talking about the Wanjikus and Musiokis of this country becoming homeowners.
Payment terms vary according to applicant's ability, and this is Believe Your Eyes Only.
Kupata skiza tune hii ya upendo, dial *811 *965#.
Unapomhukumu mtu hauna muda wa kumpenda, kwani maneno ya kuhukumu hujenga ukuta wa chuki, lakini maneno ya upendo hufungua hata mioyo iliyofungika.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya upendo, dial *811 *965# *811 *965#.
Good evening, welcome to KBC Business. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, the Finance Bill 2021 is now headed to the amendment stage after members of the National Assembly adopted a report of the Finance and National Planning Committee. MPs on the second day of debate endorsed proposals by Gladys Wanga-led committee to push back on imposition of value-added tax on basic commodities such as bread, baby formula and cooking gas, among other amendments, all in a bid to cushion Wanjiku. The government has unveiled a 12.4 billion shillings budget for its 2021-2022 financial year. 8 billion shillings of the budget will go towards recurrent expenditure, while 4.1 billion is earmarked for development activities. Here are the highlights of budgets tabled by some counties around the country.
Kitui County Government will dedicate 4.1 billion shillings to development in the coming financial year. Part of the funds will go towards funding the county's government flagship project, such as the Dengue Revolution that has been allocated 25 million shillings, Kitui and Mutomo Textile Factory that got 15 million shillings each. However, the county will spend 8.3 billion shillings in recurrent expenditure, with the MCAs telling the executive to channel more cash to development projects.
Fenye mnajua kuna mswada huko kwa Senate ambapo seneta wetu amejaribu kwenda kuongea na waheshimiwa wengine huko, dengu ikue cash crop.
Programs that focus on county strategic.
Elsewhere, the Narok County government has unveiled a 12.2 billion shillings budget for the next financial year. The health sector has been allocated 31% of the total budget, with 800 million shillings set aside to combat COVID-19 pandemic. 217 million shillings will be used to procure drugs for health facilities across the county.
For the financial year 2021-2022 is totaling to Kenya shillings 12.20 billion. The sum of Kenya shillings 3.79 billion, which translates to that 3%, has been allocated for personal emoluments.
And Nandi County unveiled an 8.8 billion shillings budget that allocated 72 million shillings for the construction of the yogurt facility at the Kabiet milk processing plant. Nandi County allocated considerable amounts to other key projects, including the Mother and Baby Complex, Nandi Textile Unit, and Eliud Kipchoge Training Complex in Kapsabet.
Total of 30 million shillings to Nandi County Veterinary and Agriculture Fund, which is a revolving fund.
Benson Rioba reporting for KBC Prime Edition.
Now to fisheries, where poor handling of fish leading to high post-harvest losses and lost skills transfer have been identified as the major challenges facing small-scale fishing farming in Kenya. Aquaculture Commercial Kenya Secretary General Susan Njoki has underscored the need to enlighten the women in fisheries value chain to boost productivity.
Kenyans should shun cultures that deny women opportunities to venture into male-dominated sectors such as fisheries. To boost productivity, women are being encouraged to join groups and embrace modern ways of handling the produce to tap demand locally and in other countries.
Women have had a very big challenge, affordable credit. As much as we are saying that it is very easy, it's not. They want your title deed, they want your logbook, they want statements. How many of these women who are in the industry even have that? We wake up, sell our fish, I know I made 500 bob, and the rest goes back to my business. So we need to help transform by starting with understanding my business.
She challenged women to take advantage of the aquaculture to supplement fish catch from the Indian Ocean.
Katika ule mchakato wa FAO, voluntary guidelines za small scale fisheries zinahimiza ya kwamba serikali na watu wote kwa ujumla wakaweze kushirikisha kina mama katika masuala ya haki za kimsingi na usawa wa jinsia, ya kwamba rasilimali ya baharini hii ni rasilimali yetu sisi sote.
This comes ahead of the official launch of a marine project in Mombasa County this weekend. Reporting for Prime Edition from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Kenyans sent less money to their loved ones during the first 3 months of this year as mobile money transfer charges on transaction of up to 1,000 shillings were reinstated. The latest Communications Authority of Kenya data shows that the volume of person-to-person mobile money transfers reduced by 9.6%, while the value reduced 5.9% to 971 billion shillings during the first 3 months of this year.
COVID-19 confirmations in the country saw the government waive transaction costs for transferring of up to 1,000 shillings on the mobile money transfer platform. This would last until end of December. Safaricom in its full year results indicated that the directive to scrap transaction fees on mobile money transfers for transfers of 1,000 shillings and below affected transactions worth 4.4 billion shillings. The reinstatement of mobile money transfer charges on the transactions from January this year impacted both the volume and value of total mobile money transactions. According to the latest Communication Authority of Kenya quarterly data for the first 3 months of the year, it indicates that the volumes of person-to-person mobile money transfers reduced by 9.6% quarter-on-quarter to 788 million, while the value of person-to-person transfers declined 5.9%, 971 million shillings. In addition, CA attributes the decrease to a culmination of the festive season, where Kenyans send money to their loved ones for the festivities and gravitation to individual household needs, including back-to-school expenses. The data further shows that resumption of in-person learning from January this year impacted data subscriptions that marginally reduced to 43.7 million, resulting in an increase in inactive mobile data internet subscriptions. The report maintains a positive outlook for the ICT sector, citing the rollout of 5G technologies that will offer superior speeds, latency, connections, remote coverage, and efficient energy consumption. Regina Manyara reporting for the Prime Edition.
Now, that is all we have from the business desk, but tomorrow we go bigger on business. One of the interviews that we have for you is on the EAC and telling you how far they have gone with the inclusion of DRC. That will be coming up. You do not want to miss it, and more business stories for you. For now, have a good night. I'm Cynthia Nyamai. I hand you back to Kioria.
Thank you very much, Cynthia Nyamai, and we'll head straight to sports because the World Rally Championships begin tomorrow. And
it's the big day tomorrow. After 19 years, right here on KBC Channel 1, we'll be giving you a treat. Richard Munga is on standby to give you more details about that and much more in our sports segment.
It's your moment. Oh, all right. We'll take a breather. Then Richard Munga will have his moment after the break.
Jambo jambo, Mombasa mpo? Fursa yenu imewadia. Tarehe 23 hadi tarehe 25 mwezi huu wa Juni, mamlaka ya kudhibiti bima nchini IRA ikishirikiana na serikali ya kaunti ya Mombasa itakita kambi Mombasa katika Open Day ya kipekee kukuhamasisha kuhusu huduma zote za bima. Itakuwa ni siku 3 zilizosheheni mafunzo kemkem kuhusu huduma za bima, haki zako na sheria husika katika bima na mengine mengi. Isitoshe, kampuni za bima na washikadau wengine katika sekta ya bima wakiwemo Retirement Benefits Authority na Capital Markets Authority watakuwepo kutangamana nawe na kukujuza kuhusu huduma zao. Kiingilio ni bure na maagizo yote kuhusu COVID-19 yatazingatiwa. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Well, good evening. My name is Richard Munga with the latest in sports right here on Prime Edition. On to a top story. Good news, of course. Rally enthusiasts in the country will enjoy spectacular action of the Wrc Safari Rally Kenya competition at the comfort of their living room starting tomorrow, courtesy of the new look KBC Television and Radio Taifa. In a bid to make sure rally fans across the country get the top-notch live coverage of the rally, Kenya Power and Lighting Company KPLC has come on board as one of the sponsors of the live action on television.
Convey our appreciation to the CEO.
Presenting a sponsorship check of 2 million shillings to the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Managing Director Dr. Naim Bilal, KPLC General Manager in charge of Regional Coordination Engineer Peter Njenga said the Safari Rally, which returns to the World Rally Championship calendar for the first time since 2002, will be a necessary respite for Kenyans, especially during the current COVID-19 pandemic.
The Kenya leg of the World Rally Championship has gained a lot of fame over the years. Of course, because of the tough, rough terrain and tough conditions through which our drivers drive through and navigate through. and therefore definitely it is the most anticipated event in the local and global sports calendar. We appreciate this partnership as it is an invaluable platform that will help us educate millions of our customers.
Dr. Bilal called on other advertisers to come on board and partner with KBC, saying the rally, which is among the most popular sporting events globally, will give them a good opportunity to showcase their product.
This is a major event when you consider that the Safari Rally is returning to Kenya after almost 2 decades of absence. KBC is the free-to-air rights holder. We have Channel 1 that is carrying this event live. We have 21 radio services that will keep Kenyans updated on the latest to do with the Safari Rally. And for this, we invite advertisers to partner with us. This is really a great moment for visibility. We have got, as I said the other day when we were relaunching, the new look KBC has got something for everyone.
The rally, which will be flagged off tomorrow at Kasarani before heading to Naivasha for other stages, will be broadcast live on KBC TV and Radio Taifa. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, few spectators will be allowed to access designated areas during the start of the rally at the Kasarani Stadium tomorrow, and also in Naivasha, where the main competition will take place.
The Wrc Safari Rally is set to begin tomorrow, and this stage is set for the global showcase that was preceded by the shakedown earlier today, which saw 3 Kenyan drivers take part in. It will be a first global rally in the country in 19 years, and one that has attracted several international drivers as well as our favorite Kenyan drivers. Once again, KBC, your true sports partner, will ensure that you get all the action from your living rooms live on KBC TV as well as Radio Taifa.
After months of trainings and stages preparations, finally the Wrc Safari Rally will be flagged off tomorrow, with several international drivers expected to compete. It is an event of interest to rally fans around the world, but has come at a cost. COVID-19 restrictions will minimize the numbers of fans attending the event, and
well, that's it for Prime Edition Sports Night. But just a point to note, tomorrow, Thika Road, Uhuru Highway and Haile Selassie roads will be closed temporarily, of course, as the rally commences at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. For more of the news and all the updates, remember to visit our YouTube page, KBC Sport. I'm Richard Munga. That's it for the night. I will be handing you over to John Jacob Kioria and Serfine Achieng on the other side of the studio. Good night.
All right, fantastic job there, Richard Monga. And of course, we hope to see all the action tomorrow on KBC Channel 1. So this is your true sports partner. And be sure to catch up that action for the entire time of the World Rally Championships. Let's sample some of your feedback before we close the bulletin. That's Serfine.
All right, a lot coming up following the interview you had there with Migori Senator. Nixon Otieno Onyango says his contribution in Senate is good. As at yesterday, I give him 88%. Ni mtu wa kuchapa kazi. My governor, my choice, 2022. Daihad Ngetich watching. Thank you so much, Charles. Muswahili Mwanjala watching from Mombasa. Charles, thank you. We've noted your concern there. Mengo kwa stima. Mwengo kwa stima, my channel, my choice. Jared Origi watching from Migori, watching my governor. Thank you so much. And of course, Simon Barroa, you're saying Ochilo Ayako, I love the new look. I love KBC. Thank you so much. Also loving the interview. Mark Musinga, Senator Ochilo, tunakutegemea hapa sana Migori, lakini barabara ya Masara kwenda Muhuru Bay border ni mbaya sana. Thank you so much. And I can go on and on. Thank you for creating time.
Before you go, there's a person, Kurma, who had said counties are still crying lack of funds for almost 8 months. Now, what are they doing or planning as Senate to resolve this? And I think that question has been posed to him, but as you can see, Senate appears like it's powerless in the discharge of their functions. You hear him saying that the work of allocation and appropriation in terms of budget is left, but the National Assembly has abrogated itself that role, and Senate appears like now it's cast to the periphery. So it's a big debate anyway. Yeah,
we take it a notch higher next Wednesday.
Yes.
And of course, you catch us again on Sunday for Sunday Express. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma. Have a lovely night.
My name is John Jacob Kioria. Enjoy yourself. God bless you. Have a good night.